So I'm standing here on the behalf of the design studios Strand and Hvass. I am Strand, and on my right side, Niels is sitting, the other half. We are a two-person design company, and we are focusing on furniture. And we're situated in Copenhagen, and we're both educated furniture designers from the Royal Danish Academy. So now I'm tracked. I just had to see how it works. Yeah, perfect. Our studio is a creative hub for ideas and co-creation and experimentation, although we are only a two-person design studio. We focus on human-centric furniture, and we try to seek to improve the conditions of our surroundings and shared experience. Our studio is in a two-level storage in Copenhagen, a building from the 19th centuries, and in street level we have an exhibition where we show our newest furniture. We show different exhibitions, and actually we also would like to invite other people to exhibit there, but we haven't been there for so long time, so far it has been our own design there. We also have a workshop in the ground floor, and that's where we focus on refining and making prototypes and mock-ups and checking out quality. So that's how we arranged our life, in a quite big spot with workshops, place for ideation, and the doors are always open if we are there. Like now we are in Stockholm, so everything is closed down, but we always welcome people to come there because it's important for us to speak with the people using our design, and we're curious, so everybody is always welcome. We work for several different companies, mainly European companies, and no matter what company we work with, our goal is always to make long-lasting furniture, because we believe in long-lasting furniture, not only just strong furniture, but furniture that for the eyes is long-lasting. So important for us is that we don't make like a fast fashion piece of design that you throw out the day after. We would really like to make something that is solid for many years. This chair is from the company For Design, and it's nearly 20 years old and is still increasing in sales. So and we have continued to develop on this one. Another product we are proud of is this one, because also for For Design, because it was actually the first Scandinavian chair to get the EU eco-label. And we are, as everybody else, concerned about the environment, and therefore we try to do our very best whenever we do furniture design. And when we also work with modular furniture. Some of you are actually sitting in this piece today. This is at our studio, and we try to work with this flexibility and to create furniture that can change over time. So although it's a solid piece, you can change it, add colors, or move around, and therefore maybe it will last for longer than if it was just something that you couldn't change if you want to change the environment of where you are. We also do garden furniture. In this case it's for cane line, and as you can see we focus also on lightness and transparency whenever we work. In addition, we also do stoves, lightings, and other lifestyle products. We have something we really like. We like to work with families, and we like to think further than just like the first introduction. We try to make a long-term strategy, so maybe starting with one chair. In this case it's for Hvass. It's a sit and twist chair, and it started as a small chair and it can grow, and later on it actually evolved to the sit and twist soft collection. So that's a very that's the way we work whenever we do design. try to think longer. And I wrote 10 years here, but I realized today it's actually 9 years ago we started to work with Hvass. And we did that not knowing that it should develop into this really nice collaboration. We prefer actually long-term collaborations because that means that we learn from the client and the client learn from us. And besides doing design for different companies, we both do individual design works. And it's quite important for us to do this individual design work because then you don't have to agree with the clients or with each other. So these pieces of works are works done mainly for exhibitions, not all of them. This is like a screenshot from our webpage where you can see, you can go in and look under Niels' name and my name if you want to. So that was a little bit about who we are. And now I'll tell you something about what is behind our furniture and our design process. I could talk about the design process for hours, but I won't. I will just tell you, it looks very neat here. The client is very important to us. Actually, it can't be a sound of one hand clapping. We need the client to tell us what they need, what they hear in the market, and then we will take it into our design process. As information, sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. It looks neat, but the truth is the process is quite messy. Design is to find and solve problems. That was what I'm writing here, but it's also something about making a product really cool and nice, and as mentioned, long-lasting. Besides speaking with our clients, we also build our design philosophy and our way it looks on our background. So both educated as furniture designer, I some years ago added a master in leadership and innovation, and some of the findings from that master is actually a part of the way we work today. And beside that, in 2021, we added a Eco Design Challenge education. Not a big one, but it was our first step to go into this environmental thought and circular economic and figure out how we will work in the future. So that's something having our focus on like everybody else in these days. Whenever we start a project, we research. We explore, we touch, we ask questions. We talk actually with everybody. We visit companies. In this case, it's a big Danish company just moved into their new renovated building, and we went there and asked the employees, how is it, what works, what doesn't work. We did that lately, so some of the thoughts from that would probably be in the next project. We also investigate how people are arranging their working life. In this case, it's a company where nobody have their own desk, so they have this storage for their private thing. And we ask into this, does it work, do you like it? Stuff like that before designing the next project. We also study people's behavior, and we test the human relationships and interaction, because that's so important when we work with public space. When are we private? When do we talk? When do we feel lonely? This is from our design process for the soft rock furniture. And there was a lot of thoughts about how do people interact. And then when we start to have some ideas, we go to the workshop and we start to experiment. Small experiment, big experiment, you never know. And some of you may know that a lot of business out in the world are looking into creative business, because creative people, they are actually, or designers, artists, whatever, they are always striving to design something new. They're always trying to figure out, get a new good idea. So, and this world is a lot about getting new ideas, because we all want to get a step forward and do it better. So that's why it's kind of interesting for me to tell you about how we arrange our life and our design process, because I notice a lot of business can actually use the way we are thinking, or I was told. This is from the prototyping process. It's actually a quite fast mock-up, but it says a lot about sizes and what works, what doesn't work. It's from the twist and sit soft, and that's how we figure out how big should it be, or how wide should it be, before sending the drawings. Just a small information like the twist and sit soft was done during COVID, so it was all online design. And we didn't see any prototypes or anything else, so this kind of work was extremely important for us to be sure what the final product looked cool. Of course, we also had the people in the other end at Nabutas, but we really needed to see how it worked before the design left the office. And from sitting there, you can see we evaluate, we put it into the computer, we draw, we look, how does it work? Because furniture is only good if it's used with pleasure. So whenever our design is finished, we want you guys to be happy. We want you to sit like you do now and think, oh, this is pretty cool, this works. There was somebody thinking of me when he and she designed this piece of furniture. And now into some of our findings, because as I told, most industries want to be innovative, and we have interviewed different people from different fields who are pretty good at thinking new, thinking wild, and we found some probably everlasting and important findings. Most of them you guys probably would just say, oh, I know, but it's still findings that's is important to talk about. Moving from different space is used as a means of shifting focus and getting out of routine. So this is something everybody talk about. They really like to break routines if they want to think new. So this story about sitting with your own desk all alone, it doesn't work any longer. They also mention that if they should think new or wild or discuss something difficult, they would prefer group size between 3 and 6 members. So notice, if you want to really work on something hard, start with less people than 12, and maybe even 6, to be sure. Trust permits experimentation and possible failure. So you have to be in an environment where you feel safe and trustful. So I hope you're sitting over there, you feel comfortable and a bit trustful, so you can actually think a little wider, maybe not at a fair, but still that's what it means. A lot of people said social isolation is important for reflection, creation and focus. So also it doesn't work just to have one big space. We need to have places where we can lock the door and be alone, and that's for a person, single persons, and for groups. And during the last years, we have all been working too much from home, most of us at least. And it turns out that many people really like working from home. So this is from my small home desk, and I too like working from home once in a while. If you look into the numbers, it says that, like in the end of COVID, 80% actually enjoyed working from home, one day a week at least. And some of them said that working from home sometimes is even more efficient. So important to notice that working from home is actually pretty smart if it's not too much. Some said that they would even like to work home 2 days a week, and less than half wanted to work home 3 days a week. I know, just to notice, some people hate working from home. They have small homes, they have too many kids, too many cats, but it's something that everybody talks about, working from home, and everybody likes also. So remote work can sometimes improve focus, and that is pretty good, but it can also hinder communication and collaboration, because it's hard when you're sitting alone to work with all the other guys or get inspiration from all the other guys. And if we look at the office, it will continue to play a primary role, but it will change, and it is changing already. I'm sure everybody noticed that the office is changing. And we are moving into this hybrid work world where we move from place to space. And we like to talk about today, it's not only a workplace, but it's a workspace. So actually, what we are introducing today is the workspace. Because a hybrid workspace is a mix of in-office and remote work that offers flexibility and support employees. It's a way to get a better work-life balance, and it actually means that some people get more engaged if they have this kind of work. But the question is, of course, how do we do this the best way? And also, the hybrid workspace means that the people sitting at home need to come at work. So we need to figure a way to get people back at work and not only sitting at home. So just to sum up, the remote office turns into the hybrid workspace. And if we look at these people sitting at home, we know that humans are social creatures, and sitting too much at home, they actually miss the informal conversation, they miss visible leaders and organizations. They also find it a little bit difficult that work life and home life is completely separated, because they don't have these impulse meetings and they don't become real friends with somebody at their work. So they need to go to work or they will look as sad as our daughter did during COVID. And hybrid work is here, and we know that we have all these meetings, online meetings, so in chair like this we need, and it's also pretty cool once in a while, because it makes us have these easy meetings. We don't have to fly to Lithuania or Italy all the time. We can actually have some of the small meetings fast at home and save energy and time. And you can say it's not a competition. It's not a competition between hybrid space. The whole hybrid space is not a competition between office, home, or online meetings. Some tasks is just solved better from home, some from the office. And many tasks are solved on the move, so we don't even need to be at the office or at the home to solve a task. Maybe we actually would like to sit somewhere else. And if we talk about this hybrid workspace of tomorrow, it must facilitate interaction between human, space, and technology. And if we look around, we can see in a city like Copenhagen, there is so many co-work spacing appearing all over. And if you go there, there's actually a lot of people. And these people are there because they need to meet others. And these co-working spaces is arranged a bit like here. They're pretty cozy, and it's interesting to walk in there and see there's actually people sitting there, knowing each other, not knowing each other, having meetings because they actually is hungry for meeting other people and get new knowledge. One of the things about working from home is that you can actually enjoy your freedom. You can enjoy that you're allowed to work in different ways or places, and it makes this really cool life balance between life and work. And it's also something that we noticed that during COVID, before we met leaders who said, no, my employees are not allowed to work from home. And afterwards they said, oh, they can actually work from home, this works. But since we call it the space, hybrid workspace, it's because it's not only about furniture, it's also about mental space. So if the brain becomes overloaded, we all know it, we can hardly think or solve complex problems. I actually think Niels is thinking here, and maybe even solving something complex, but it's important to remember the mental space. Just like if we want to go to work, we need to feel valued, and every company needs to attract their employees, and some of them choose to nurture with good food, social events and stuff like that. But actually, if you ask people, they all say that healthy food and active breaks is among some of the things they really would like. So it's, besides nice office furniture, we need actually to remember the mental health. And whenever you arrive at your work, you want to feel accompanied. You want to feel that you're welcome, that it is nice to be there. Because if you do that, absentee fall and employees spend more and more time at their work. So it has never been more difficult to attract the right workforce. It's never been more difficult to get people to meet each other at work. So we really need to be aware of how we arrange the workspace. And here it comes, almost a home. It is said that home is a feeling and not a place. I believe that actually. But to feel at home, we have to feel trust and kindness, because that's what we have in our private home. We have trust and kindness. And the surroundings must be neat and welcoming and cozy. And most people say they really would like naturally daylight and even access to green areas. Some of the biggest Danish companies are right now making like parks and even woods on their space around the company, so people can go out for a walk close to their work site. And that's once again something about how we train and attract employees. And we do that with an office that is offering more social activity. Of course, you can't just sit and talk all the time, but you can actually get a lot done by talking, and it's important, especially if you are at home 2 days a week. So the best hybrid workspace is created too, because most industries demand innovation, and most industries want to develop and grow, and all industries want the very best workforce. So from a working person to a complete person is not only a dream, it's actually a demand. So now we'll look into this fastest creative workspace. The creative workspace can be anywhere. It can build on trustful relations. It shall maintain a strong company culture, so you come to work. It has to offer variety in your working life. So there has to be changes all the time. That's what human likes, or most human likes. It has to facilitate social interaction, but it also has to be aware of diversity, because some people don't like all this social interaction. So of course it's broader than this, but it is the social interaction that they are missing whenever we work too much from home. Or much from home. And this kind of creative workplace is the workplace that carry out tasks, solve problems, and meet challenges. Like a game, and not as a burden, you can say. I forgot to say, if anybody have questions, then I can breathe, so please. So, we all know that an inspiring meeting revolves around a social object. It can be a fireplace, it can be some kind of art in fact, or it can be the coffee machine. Some of the best ideas have happened around the coffee machine. And that's also why we see coffee machines all over companies, in every corner, coffee machines in kitchens. Because everybody is aware of this and have been it for a while, that we need relaxed, informal places to meet, or informal places. And talking about meeting, we talk about equality. We have to meet as equal people. We are all the same. Everybody can contribute with a good idea, and therefore we prefer to design furniture that stood for equality. Because a work culture is based on a group of people who dare to help and each other and arrive with good ideas and bad ideas. And that's actually why I really like this picture. It's the 9-year-old jazz table that still works pretty good because it has everything that we need also today. A square, completely square table, it can go up and down and you can just meet for a short informal meeting and figure out a fast problem or big problems. Interesting is also that furniture can support a trustful environment. And talking about trust, this is actually from our studio. This twist and sit soft high back sofa arrived. We put it there and 5 minutes later my adult daughter arrived. And she said, I'm only here for 5 minutes. And I said, fine, look at our new couch here. And she sat down and she stayed for almost 2 hours and she talked about stuff I never had heard before. And I was like, oh, this is wild. She actually felt extremely safe sitting there in this soft thing with a cup of coffee. And I was like, okay, furniture can support trustful environment. I maybe knew, but suddenly I really also felt it on my own, in my own environment. Just like in private homes, some people people need to go alone to have a phone call. Some people are sensitive to noise. So we need these quiet spaces. And strong communities are evolved around knowledge sharing. We need to be around each other to touch down, create working communities and solving difficult tasks. Social skills, decision making and creativity is necessary if you want to solve a complex problem. Engaged people will gradually work more and more together in ways companies don't even realize. In this case, it's a product meeting at Nabutas. So a little bit more about the private space. If you want to figure out new things, you need this private space. But you also need, if possible, and I think that's something to take back with you guys, you need a space where you can hide for a little longer than an hour or two. Usually these spaces are maybe said, oh, it's occupied from 3 to 5. But during the interviews, everybody mentioned that they would like a space once in a while for maybe 3 days. A place where they could be messy, draw and do stuff without the whole company looked at it, only the little group working together. So, move between space. We are all designed to move. And a well-thought office is made so everybody is encouraged to move and change position. Just like a big home, we like to move between dinner table, the library, workshop, TV, whatever. And every time we move, it actually makes space for inspiration, new ideas, new souls. So changing space can open up for new ideas, and unique surroundings actually do make a difference. Good ideas demand diversity, and especially space for diversity. We need space with the feeling of being home. We need furniture that attract all generations and different types of personalities. We need space and furniture created for diversity. When there is space for everyone and all kinds of personalities, we can ensure the very best working life. Most people have their best ideas in these flexible workplace options. Socially furniture offers space and engage and connect and share. Many are more productive when they can change the environment during the workday. People sitting on a sofa can actually generate value for the business. And I think that's maybe really important to remember that, like, once we said, oh, you can only generate value if you sit at the school table or the office desk. But today we all know that you can actually generate good ideas and work in many different places and situations. And you can look here, it's like the young generation sitting in soft rock generating really cool ideas. So the hybrid workspace is changing the office, and there will be less space for focus and more social space. So we need to rearrange the office so there will be these places for social space. We talk about space to restore, space to feel welcome, space work to teamwork, space work to me. So, yeah, this was what I was talking about. And for these spaces, we have designed furniture, different kind of furniture. And one of the first one we did was twist and sit chairs. And they meet all the demands from different spaces. It's an informal chairs collection with high chairs and armchairs and lounge chairs and different frames in 2 colors. The chairs are easy to move and they can be used in many situations. Twist and sit soft includes high back sofas and low back sofas, and they are noise reduction. We made them for lounge areas where it's you can create a small sitting group with a high back that creates privacy, and once again it creates a trustful environment. Small groups and social skills and decision making and creativity is necessary when we want to solve something. And I think that this twist and sit lounge chair is perfect for that. It creates a small space where everybody's equal, where you can discuss together with your colleagues, or you can be yourself. And if you look at the 2 color option, I think that it underlines and increases the feeling of privacy. It has like one color outside, another color inviting you to sit inside. The armchairs are dynamic and they can move and change whenever they are having this frame, and you can change the meeting spot wherever you want to be or go. So it's like some rooms are actually used for meetings, others for like yoga. Some days, the same room, so it's good with the diversity. Also, small spots can work with this chair also because it's welcoming people. So you can just sit here, take a seat and think a little bit about today and tomorrow. The high back version I mentioned, but you can see it also have a little coffee table. You can sit down with a cup of coffee and relax and just take a short break or a longer break. I think this sofa can is actually really inviting, the way it's opening a little bit up. So it's inviting people to sit down and feel comfortable. And on the side there's this hanger where you can put your clothes or your sack or whatever, and space for your mobile phone. If we look at the design, it's all the details makes the impression and the dynamic of this furniture. Once again, it's round corners and rounded edges. All details are soft. Nothing is sharp. It gives this informal feeling and dynamic expression. The chairs you can get in different frames, tubes, star base, wheels, whatever. Here it's at our studio with wooden legs. Then there's soft rock, like our latest darling. Soft rock is a modular seating system made to facilitate a permanent social space. We made soft rock with the smooth, rocky river bed in mind. It has endless combination, and it is a modular seating system. Some of you who knows the system can see there's a table. It's not in production yet, but we decided to put it up here and maybe somebody will demand. So it provides privacy and social space with these walls in between. And soft rock is actually quite simple. It's only 6 models, 1 straight element, 2 curved elements, 1 corner puff, 1 puff, and a chaiselong. And if you look at it here, you can see there's the walls in two different heights. And if you look at the shape, I think it's kind of important that the sloping shape of the walls make them appear more open, and they still create a private room. And then also the shape is soft and friendly, and the back is low and used for also an armrest. So it's a way to meet a more relaxed way to sit. It's meeting a younger generation. And we hope we design something that is very friendly. And it's like multifunctional. You can use it in many, many ways. And pretty important also, there's space for working still. Small works, a lot of work, I don't know, you decide. But also the front leaves space, so the shoes will not make the front dirty at all. Yes, and then there's these islands. We really like them because it's a little small thing with these end pops, but with those we can make these islands that is perfect for lobby, waiting areas, museum halls, and education. The look of these islands, they can be small or they can be big, but it gives really a feeling of an island floating in the sea. I think maybe I should also mention that soft rock can be just very small sofas also. So it's not like it has to be for these huge environments. The mobile armrest without and with power socket can be anywhere between the seats. And back to our studio. Here is Soft Rock in the studio. And here, there's a lot of people testing it. And we spend so much time alone. And actually everybody knows that if we want to live alone, a happy life, we have to be social. So we also spend a lot of time at our work. So our work have to support this social interaction. And I think this is a pretty nice example of how we like it at our studio. People arriving, giving us some social response and interact. And this is a view over soft rock combinations. And then finally there's one more thing, because if you want to retrain and attract people, you have to be appealing, human, social, diverse, meaningful, unique, nurturing, and is responsible. And actually, the people working for the company need to be proud. For me personally, I was so happy when I realized now Hvass is like having a 10 years of warranty, because that's something we really would like to work on. Furniture that is strong for a very long life. Yes, and here you can see some of the furniture you have been seeing during the presentation. It's actually all our own pictures, some few from Hvass also, from our everyday life. And we need to move around, we need to talk, but I can tell you even designers sit too much at their desks every day. Yeah, thank you very much. Now I'm ready for questions.